Everyone knows about Blackpink, right? The popular girl group from South Korea. It is said that they are about to embark on a tour in Vietnam, and Vietnamese fans are extremely excited. But wait, all of this has been disrupted by something called the 9-dash line. For those who don't know, the 9-dash line is actually a U-shaped line that China marked on the map to claim its sovereignty over the South China Sea. It's like a big mouth that devours a large portion of the sea, including areas that Vietnam considers its own. This line is like a curse drawn in front of Vietnam, and whenever someone accidentally touches it, Vietnam reacts as if its tail has been stepped on. So, when Vietnamese netizens discovered that the Chinese company EMA, which is organizing the Blackpink concert, had the 9-dash line on its website, they were furious. Even though EMA argued that it was just a map and didn't represent the territory of any specific country, Vietnamese netizens were enraged, as if they had seen a red flag, and called for a boycott. The Vietnamese government also stated that using products or publications with the 9-dash line for promotion in Vietnam is illegal. That image, in Vietnam, is like a red cloth in front of a bull. EMA, feeling like a dog whose tail has been stepped on, quickly announced that they would replace the image and sent a written explanation to the Vietnamese government. Hopefully, they didn't use stationery with the 9-dash line, or else this issue might continue to escalate. Just like this situation, we often encounter misunderstandings in life. Most misunderstandings can be resolved with a simple explanation. However, if the person you misunderstand happens to be a sensitive nerve, don't expect them to be understanding because you have already irritated them. Well, I hope that while enjoying music, we don't forget to respect the sovereignty and culture of each country. After all, we are all members of the global village, and everyone wants to be respected. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen went to Beijing for a dialogue with Chinese leaders. Yellen criticized the Chinese government for its harsh treatment of foreign-funded companies. You see, she's like a mother standing up to protect her children, except these children are Boeing, Bank of America, and so on. I don't know about you, but personally, if I had to choose a stepmother, I would want someone in charge of the U.S. Treasury. At least that way, she wouldn't be stingy with my allowance. Then, the Biden administration announced that they would impose restrictions on China's access to critical semiconductor manufacturing technology and tools. It's like saying, well, if you won't let me play in your sandbox, I won't share my toys either. It seems like they forgot that they are no longer in a kindergarten sandbox but in the sandbox of the global economy. In response, China stated that they would also restrict the export of certain critical minerals used in chip manufacturing. It's like playing ping pong, but everyone is holding a different racket. Biden has the semiconductor racket, while China has the minerals racket, and they are hitting back and forth at each other. We can only sit on the sidelines, watching this game, eating popcorn, and anticipating what will happen next. Overall, I think what we can expect is more retaliation. The Biden administration restricts cloud computing services, and then China may respond by saying, well, if you won't let us use your cloud, we will restrict you from using our land. It's like an endless game of ping pong, except each hit can shake the global economy. So, my friends, let's sit back and anticipate the next round of this ping pong match, while also praying that they don't suddenly switch to using rocks, coins, or worse, our wallets. Alright, let's not forget that whether it's in a sandbox in kindergarten or in the sandbox of the global economy, having fun is the most important thing. The French Senate, that place where they often drink wine, eat cheese, and discuss philosophical matters, is currently investigating TikTok. They believe that the teenagers using TikTok might not just be imitating dance moves to popular songs, but also reporting to Beijing. The French Senate has warned that if TikTok doesn't clarify its relationship with Chinese authorities by January 1, 2024, they will ban its use in France. I can imagine how the decision to make this announcement was made by the person sitting in a cafe, smoking a cigarette, and saying, yes, let's give them until January 1, 2024. On New Year's Day, if they don't cooperate, we will shut down their application and go celebrate with champagne. I'm thinking TikTok might respond, then you won't see those dancing teenagers all day anymore. Are you okay with that? The French Senate also criticized TikTok for playing an active role in its content, especially in a recent incident of urban violence. I can imagine the French saying, that's our job. We are French, and we've been causing trouble since the French Revolution in 1789. We don't need TikTok's help, thank you for your targeted operations. This is how the French handle problems. They see an issue, they sit down with it, light a cigarette, take a deep drag, and say, you see, this is the problem. We must address this issue. We can't let the Chinese manipulate our teenagers through this short video application. Then they start discussing how to solve the problem over a cup of coffee and a piece of cheese. So, this is how the French handle problems, and it's also how they approach life. Perhaps we should learn from them and view our lives and problems in a more profound, philosophical way, rather than letting our lives revolve solely around short videos and social media. But before that, I need to find where I put my cigarettes and red wine. Chinese investors are eager to deposit money into overseas US dollar accounts and purchase insurance in Hong Kong. Yeah, it's like Chinese investors are saying, I know we have an ancient and great civilization, the largest population in the world, hot pot, spicy skewers, and pan-fried buns, but we still want those dollars, thank you. Brokers even say that this trend is mainly driven by individual investors and shows no signs of fading. This story really cracks me up. It's like all investors are saying, okay, I know we might be chasing a currency that could further decline, but you know what, we just love the thrill. It's like going all in at the casino and praying the roulette wheel lands on our number. Hong Kong insurance has now become an important channel for Chinese people to purchase assets overseas, offering more protection than in the mainland. It reminds me of the time I went to an insurance company, and they showed me a policy that looked like ancient script. I said, can you explain what these terms mean? They replied, no need, just give us your money, sit back, and enjoy your life. Now, Chinese investors are lining up for higher yield and purchasing savings insurance products in Hong Kong. It's like queuing up at a supermarket, except this time they're not buying milk and bread, but an insurance product with a whopping 4% yield. 0.5%, compared to the 3% return rate in the mainland. This number is high enough to make you fly in the sky. And have you heard about the 4% interest rate on US dollar deposits in Hong Kong? In the mainland, the one-year US dollar deposit rate is only 2.8%, and the RMB deposit rate is even lower, at just 1.65%. It's like telling us that if you want to make money in China, you have to buy Hong Kong insurance, deposit dollars, and then sit at home, counting your money. Then we hear that the gap between the two-year US and Chinese government bond yields is the largest in 16 years, and while global stock markets are rising, the Chinese stock market is going down. It really reminds me of the time I invested some money in the stock market, and I watched that money decrease day by day. I could only sit there, muttering to myself, I should have bought Hong Kong insurance and deposited dollars. However, Chinese authorities are stepping up efforts to support the yuan, state-owned banks are selling dollars, and the central bank warns of the risk of significant exchange rate fluctuations. It's like telling us, don't worry, we're dealing with this issue, just like that acrobat dancing on the edge of a blade. It's both nerve-wracking and exciting, isn't it? Remember, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, as long as you have enough dollars in Hong Kong insurance, you could become the next billionaire. Following the bad cop Blinken, the good cop Yellen is also embarking on a visit to China. This Beijing trip by the U.S. Treasury Secretary is one of the high-risk attempts to rebuild bridges between the world's two largest economies. Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, met with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in Beijing. In his opening speech, Li mentioned that when Yellen arrived in Beijing on Thursday, July 6, there happened to be a rainbow, stating that the China-US relationship is not all storms and rain, and the two countries will surely see more rainbows. Chinese media reported that Yellen's first meal after getting off the plane was at a Yunnan cuisine restaurant in Beijing's Sanlitun area, and she used chopsticks during the meal. John Kerry, the Special Presidential Envoy for Climate of the Biden administration, announced on Thursday that he will be traveling to China next week to restart global warming negotiations between the world's two largest polluters. China suspended climate talks with the U.S. after Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last year. Kerry's visit to China this time will be his third trip as a climate envoy. He is prepared to urge China on issues such as accelerating coal phase-out and combating deforestation. Tom Woodruff, a senior researcher at the Asia Society Policy Institute, said that if Kerry can formally re-establish routine climate discussions during this trip, it will be his greatest achievement. Woodruff stated that climate negotiations are currently in a precarious stage due to geopolitical reasons. He pointed out that China suspended diplomatic talks on military issues, drugs, and climate change due to Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, are the backbone of Germany's economy, and their business models often rely on the vast Chinese market. As tensions between China and the U.S. intensify, Germany finds itself in a dilemma in terms of geopolitics, and many SMEs are striving to reduce their dependence on China. China is seeking Germany's favor, while at the same time, the United States is urging Germany to distance itself further from Beijing. German officials have stated that their strategy is to maintain relations with China but balance its influence by strengthening ties with other countries such as India or Vietnam. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, are also doing the same. Huawei is heavily investing in India and planning to build a new factory there, while some companies are shifting their focus to North America. In the face of China's rise, the United States and Vietnam have not only deepened their economic and trade relations in recent years but also seem to share common concerns about the South China Sea issue. However, analysts believe that Washington's desire to win over Hanoi has not been successful, as maintaining the regime is the top priority for the Vietnamese Communist Party leadership. The World Trade Organization's Agreement on Investment Facilitation successfully concluded text negotiations on Thursday, July 6, making it the world's first multilateral investment agreement. The head of the Department of WTO Affairs at China's Ministry of Commerce said that the Agreement on Investment Facilitation will help enhance the stability and predictability of global investment regulatory policies, further boost global investor confidence, and promote stable growth in global investment. In recent months, Iran's oil exports have reached a 5-year high as sales to countries like China increase, bringing a significant amount of discounted crude oil to the already troubled global energy market plagued by demand concerns. The surge in Iranian oil supply could undermine the efforts of major oil-producing countries like Saudi Arabia to boost oil prices through production cuts. Chinese state media published an article on Friday, July 7, criticizing Goldman Sachs for its pessimistic assumptions and bearish outlook on the fundamentals of Chinese banks, stating that it largely misunderstood the situation. If you're wondering what the trendiest fashion on the streets of China this summer is, it's definitely the facekini. With many parts of China being scorched by the sun, various sun protection products are appearing on the streets of cities like Beijing and Shanghai. One popular item is the face mask that covers the face and neck below the eyes to protect against UV rays. Some people even pair it with hats or sunglasses for full protection. About 20 cities in China have experienced flooding this week, with the Chongqing flood causing over 10 deaths. Temperatures in many places have exceeded 38 degrees Celsius. Analysts suggest that extreme weather conditions around the world may last longer this summer and autumn. Hello, everyone, I'm your news anchor, Yali. We provide you with a one-stop service for daily news related to China. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section, and we will read and respond to them seriously. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Take care, everyone.